All right, hey guys, so here's just a quick kind of tutorial about how a Colle bow stroke works, just to kind of supplement stuff that I talk about in lessons. If we're going over Colle, it's a really difficult stroke that takes a little bit of time to set in, and one of the most common questions I have when I'm working with students on this technique is, was I practicing it right? Because it's very different from anything else that we do, but being able to execute Colle properly has a really big effect on your ability to execute other bow strokes well. So this is just kind of serving as a guide, as a little reminder, something you can refer to outside of your lessons to make sure that you're practicing correctly. So the way that we do Colle is primarily in the hand and the fingers. All right, this is a stroke that happens down at the frog, as close to the frog as you can possibly get. And it involves this motion of bringing the bow up into the hand, curling the pinky in, and then extending. Right, this is why we're such sticklers about having an arched pinky and a bent thumb, because we need to have this flexibility in the hand to be able to execute a really firm and controlled bow stroke at the frog without putting too much weight in, so that we don't get scritchy scratchy sounds like that either. So the way to approach Colle is to start as close to the frog as you can possibly get, making sure that we have an arched pinky, a bent thumb, that we're connecting well to the frog with our fingers, right? Our hand is free of tension. And we just take a breath to release the weight of our arm into the string. This is really easy to do here at this point in the bow because the frog is so heavy, right? It doesn't take a lot of effort to really sink in. And once we've got really good contact with the string, right, we're going to make sure that we bend our pinky and we release the weight of our hand into the back side of our hand, back here, right, through the heel of our hand. And this puts us in the position to do down bow. And when we do down bow, we're going to let the weight sink into the string, and then it's almost going to be like a spring-loaded motion, right? We're just going to extend our fingers out, and we're going to try to keep this motion only in the hand, fingers, and a little bit in the wrist. And then we reset. Now we're in an up bow position. So from our up bow position, the pinky is straighter. It's not entirely locked. We don't want to, completely cave our pinky in, but it's going to be in a mostly straight position. Our wrist is nice and lifted. We've still got good contact with all of our other fingers, and we're again going to find the weight into the string, and then we're going to do this motion in reverse. We're going to have it be a kind of spring-loaded motion going in an up bow direction. And as we do this, we bring the frog of the bow up into the palm of the hand. So our pinky and thumb are going to curve as we do this, and then we again set with all of the weight going into the string. Take a breath, make sure we're not holding tension in our arm or shoulder, right? And again, down bow, set, up bow, set, down bow. See, and I got a little bit of scratch there. That means that I'm letting too much weight getting into the string. I'm also migrating a little bit close to my bridge. So I'm gonna move a little bit more over my F holes. All right, we wanna be pretty much right over the F holes for a really good medium contact point there. Now, if I go over to the D string, this is gonna change a little bit because the D string is thicker. So it requires a little less speed and a little more weight. But at this point in the bow, where we're so close to the frog, those differences are gonna be really minute. So we're not gonna need a whole lot more weight. And it's gonna be up to you to kind of gauge exactly how much more weight you're gonna need to put into the string for this stroke, right? But again, we follow this same process, sinking the weight into the back of the hand, knuckles are flat, right? My top knuckles are pretty much flat with the rest of my hand. And now I've got a nice curved lifted wrist, straightened pinky, and up bow. And it's important that between each stroke that we set the bow down, we approach the stroke from the string. This doesn't work. This is not an off the string stroke. We need to be really connected to the string as we execute the stroke. If we go over to the G string, again, a little bit more weight, a little bit less speed. If we come over to the E string, right here, we're gonna need even less weight, much less weight, because we've got a much thinner string and a little bit more speed, but it's still gonna be the same mechanism. Like I'm still doing the same thing with my hand and my fingers here. And this is something that you're gonna wanna do at your own pace. Go very slowly, break it down. Don't rush this at all. It's the kind of thing that you really have to let it sink in over time. So doing this kind of exercise for 5, maybe 10 minutes at a time is gonna be plenty, especially in the beginning when this is like really new. Going slower and doing less in smaller chunks of time, but with more focus, is going to help this settle in faster. And if you're to the point where you've already been working on Colle for a little while and it's starting to get comfortable, the next step, besides just doing open strings, is to pick a very simple etude. The one that I usually recommend to start is Wolfart, Book 1, Number 1. A lot of you will be familiar with this etude from working in lessons. Sounds like this. Right? So doing that at a slow tempo with good Colle technique is a way to kind of integrate this with using the left hand. Right? Playing the entire etude that way can be a little daunting at first. Maybe pick just a couple of lines to do to start. Don't try to do the whole thing. But eventually, once this becomes a more comfortable technique, you can do the entire etude at an allegro moderato and execute it well, right? It just takes time and practice. So hopefully this has been kind of a helpful guide for you to use in your home practice environment, just as you're getting used to this new technique, something to refer back to so that you know that it looks right and it feels right as you're working on it. So I hope this is helpful. Stay tuned for more little practice helping videos as I upload them. Have a good one. See you later, guys.